Hey, this is Alice. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about the P90X3 Nutrition Plan. So I'm sure you already know that your diet is 70 to 90% of the battle. So you want to be sure that you're really rocking your diet and really eating all the right food so that way you're going to have the best results. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the plan and how it actually works. I know you can look at this and kind of be overwhelmed. It can be a little bit confusing, so I'm going to try to simplify it for you, okay? If you go to page 19, the plan basically gives you a little quiz. So figure out, go through and, you get a point if you're a female, 1, 2 if you're a man. You go through and figure out your points, all right? And then when you turn the page over, it tells you your calorie plan according to the number of points that you had. So for instance, mine is actually 3, and that calls for plan B, which is 1,800 calories. Now, I know for me that that's a little bit on the high side. I know from my body and the way that I exercise and just my lifestyle that that's a little bit on the high side for me. So I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, and I'm actually going to modify my plan to be 1,500. That just works better for me. Again, that's just according to my own body. So I would tell you, you know what works best for you. So plan it out according to what works best. If you know that it calls for 1,500 calories, and for you that's not enough, that you're going to be bonking out your workouts and not having the energy that you want. So if that's you, then I would say then add it more to your calorie intake. You have to kind of play it by ear and see what works best for you. But this is a good starting point. It's a good reference point to start with. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to go to the very next page, page 21, and it actually gives you the meal plan. It tells you how much of each category you can have. So the macronutrients are the different sections. You have the protein, the carbs, and the fat. So it tells you exactly of how much of each category you can have, all right, for your day. That's really important. If you're planning your food out and you end up having 5 carbs instead of the 3, you're not going to have the right results. You're going to have a different result, right, than if you actually follow it. So try your best to follow it. And you might think, okay, well, what are the carbs and how much do I have of it? I know for me in the past, I was eating the right foods, but too much of the right foods. So too much of a good thing can still not be a good thing, right? So it's important that you follow the actual plan. It tells you how much of each actual food that you can have. So if you go to the page 32, it breaks it down. It tells you kale, it's 2.5 cups cooked. So it gives you specifically how much of a serving it's talking about, right? When it gives you the number that you can have per day. So go through and take a look at that. And one thing you can do, like when it refers to chicken, and if it refers to, you think, okay, what is, if you're following any plan, sometimes it just gives you, the ounces. Well, you're like, how much is 4 ounces? How do I really know? Well, this is the way that you can actually track that is by using a little scale, a little food scale. These aren't expensive. They're easy. They're cheap. It's a great way to really figure out exactly how much you're eating of something, and you can plan it out. And one thing that I like to do is I use the weekend to really spend some time going through this, figuring out exactly what I'm going to eat for the next week. So you want to be sure that you plan your meals in advance. If you're crazy busy like me, I work full-time for a law firm, I have 5 kids and a husband, and I do my coaching on the side. So I have to plan my food in advance, okay? So what I do is on Saturday, I'll write out my food for the entire week. Pull out your tablet, pull out your iPhone, whatever, piece of paper and a pen, whatever works best for you, sit down and write it out and figure out what you're going to eat, figure out how much you can have of each thing according to your plan, food plan, and then what you can do on Sunday, and then go to the store and buy everything, and then Sunday, spend the time preparing in advance as much as you can. So for instance, you could actually, cook all your all your quinoa in advance, so and put it in a container. And one thing that I like to do is I like to use containers like this, so you can cook your quinoa in advance, you can cook your brown rice in advance, you can grill your chicken, and then we can have your husband or your wife, whoever does the cooking, just, or yourself, go through and just barbecue all your meat in advance, and then you put it in the containers, and then you have it for the week. Like if you want to have a nice big microgreen salad and have your chicken already done, that works really well. And then you put them in your containers, and then you could just grab it and go. But if you have a big family like I do, one thing that I like to do is actually use these bags. So I like to put my food in the little bags. So I have my meals in here, my snacks, and then I put them all into the big bag. Then I just grab this bag because this takes less space in a fridge. Again, if you have a big family, you can't always fit these huge containers with all your food. If you have all your food for the week in these containers, it's going to take up a lot of space. So one way you can do it is you can just put them in little bags, and it just makes it, you can grab it, go, you're good to go for the week or for that day, all right? Or you can just put them in big containers and just scoop it out and then make your plate, before you go to work. But that's a little bit harder, I think. So these are some tips of things you can do to really rock your diet. Again, if you're, doing the X3 workouts and you're not planning in advance and you're, not eating the right foods, you're not going to have the best results. And we want everyone to really rock your diet and have your best results and reach your goals, all right? So if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.